We can continue to follow that breaking news of a massive apartment fire in East Charlotte. These are live pictures you're looking at right now. We can tell you just from looking at these pictures over the commercial break that smoke is still billowing out. There are still some flames inside that building. This is a building that has 16 units in it. That's a lot of people impacted by this. Speaking of, we learned that 4 patients were treated there on scene. 2 actually had to be taken to the hospital, though.
And you can kind of see the firefighters right there on the screen canvassing that balcony. We don't know how this fire started, which unit that fire started in, and exactly what contributed to that massive fire we've been watching all morning long. Rob Hughes is on scene there, and you can see our photographer giving you this really broad view. We will have a live report coming up at 6. Also breaking overnight, at least 11 people dead, several others missing right now after a boat carrying tourists on a popular Missouri lake capsized and sank. This all happening at Table Rock Lake in Branson, Missouri last night. This is some new video just into our newsroom. Take a look. It's capturing the moments before that disaster. You see all those people on that boat right there. Officials say stormy weather is believed to be what caused the Ride the Ducks boat to capsize. Winds were said to have reached more than 60 miles an hour. Branson is about 200 miles southeast of Kansas City, a very popular vacation spot. Be sure to stick with us here on NBC Charlotte all morning long as we continue to follow the developing story out of there. We'll bring any updates we get.
5:47 right now. Back to that breaking news. Charlotte fire right now, giving an update on that big apartment fire in East Charlotte. Let's take a listen.
What's the situation? Can you just talk to us a little bit about that, guys?
Well, fire is always dangerous. This is what we train for. So if this was just a routine for us, this is what we train for on a daily basis. So it's always dangerous when you have fire and life safety involved.
Do we know if this started in an apartment, in a stairwell, or somewhere else?
That is still an investigation. Too early to determine.
Any crews affected, or are all of the firefighters okay?
Yeah, at this time, all firefighters are okay. We have a rehab set up, so we're rotating them in, making sure they stay hydrated, plenty of fluids, and get a lot of rest to continue working.
Do we know what the patients were treated for? You said that 2 were taken to the hospital. Was it smoke or was it burns? Or
at this time, I don't have that there. That's if you reach out to medic, they may be able to confirm. I just know that 2 were transported with non-life-threatening injuries.
So 2 transported before were injured, but the other 2 may still be here, or is it 6 total?
No, it's a total of, by what I understand, but you might want to confirm this with medic. There were 2 that were transported, a total of 4 that were treated. So 2 actually transported, but 4 were actually treated on scene. Total of 4. Total of 4, yes.
Right now, still 1 building?
Yes, one building with 16 individual units.
Your name, sir?
Captain Gist, G-I-S-T.
What's your first name?
Oh, Dennis, D-E-N-N-I-S.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, and I'll try to update you all as soon as we can.
The captain from CFD updating us on the situation over there on Gateswood Drive. Again, a 2-alarm fire. He just let us know that this was a building that had 16 units in it. So that gives you some indication of about how many people, those are families that were impacted by this.
And you saw a lot of those people outside as we've been showing you the live look from that scene. Look at all that smoke still billowing in that area. We do know that 4 people were treated there, 2 taken to the hospital by a medic. As you heard our Rob Hughes asking the fire captain there what their condition was. We are waiting to get that information.
And as we push in, you can see this an hour later, still a very active fire. There are still actual flames burning there at that site. There's still some smoke rising from that building. There's another shot of flames. So you can imagine firefighters are going to be working on this fire for still some time. We do know they had to call in backup actually to help deal with it.
Now at 4:30, the final crusade. Reverend Billy Graham will be laid to rest today with thousands in attendance to say one last farewell. We have a breakdown of the funeral and the impact it will have here in the Queen City. Plus, the presidential visit. We're live ahead of President Donald Trump's arrival for Reverend Graham's funeral. How that funeral and the president's visit will impact traffic. Your news at 4:30 starts right now.
And right now at 5:30, it is decision day. Will Charlotte actually play host to the Republican National Convention in 2020? Leaders are expected to make a final vote in just a matter of hours. We're live ahead of that crucial decision.
Plus, another meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin in the works, but this time the location rumored to be much closer to home.
Rachel, thanks. Time now 5:02 this morning. Some homeowners in Rowan County waking up inside local disaster shelters. Air quality still a big issue for families who live near the Holmes Iron and Metal Scrapyard on North Long Street. You see on your screen why. Heavy flames and thick smoke billowed through the air throughout the night. NBC Charlotte's Ruby Durham now live for us this morning with a look at the conditions there. Ruby.
Ben, I talked to officials this morning and I'm told since power is back on for hundreds of people, it is safe for them to go back home this morning. However, shelters like the one at Hurley YMCA still open this morning until 9 a.m. A massive fire sending heavy smoke and ashes into the air at the Holmes Iron and Metal Scrapyard. The blaze sending dozens of families into panic.
It was like big and bright, and then it was just like a whole lot of black smoke.
Workers on scene say the fire broke out around 11 a.m. on Wednesday when a van suddenly burst into flames. A nearby power station left more than 1,300 customers in the dark for hours. As a precaution, several families were asked to evacuate, while others who live close to the scrapyard were asked to shelter in place and close all doors and windows.
We came out the house and it was just like a lot of fire and smoke.
Officials say no one was injured. However, the public health concern this morning remains air quality. Smoke from the massive blaze spread through dozens of local communities and continued to smolder long after the fire was put out.
It's like toxic, and I know it's some bad stuff over there. And for it to be burning and us breathing, it's not good.
This morning, we're working to learn the name of a person killed in a house fire in Burke County. Happened yesterday at a home on Rogers Road in Hildebrand near Hickory. Fire crews say they found the person dead inside that home 20 minutes after putting out the flames. Officials still investigating what caused that fire.
New this morning, we are getting a look at the autopsy report on the death of Mariah Woods. She's the 3-year-old North Carolina girl who was the subject of a nationwide Amber Alert late last year.
Her body found in a creek in December, days after she was reported missing. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this story, of course, very graphic. The report says the body found wrapped inside several plastic bags before it was stuffed inside a couch cushion with all different types of things to make it sink, such as cement and rocks. Earl Kimmery, the boyfriend of Wood's mother, facing several charges in the case, including first-degree murder. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty against him.
5:05 now. The Iredell County Sheriff's Department mourning one of its own this morning. Corporal Bill Wood was killed in a crash yesterday on Taylorsville Highway just north of Statesville. He was off duty and riding a motorcycle at the time. Another deputy involved in the crash was hurt and was in a marked SUV at the time. Justin Betts is now on administrative leave pending the outcome of the crash investigation.
The third suspect in a June homicide in Northeast Charlotte in police custody this morning. CPD says 33-year-old Jamal Griffin, picked up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is now facing several charges, including the murder in the death of 32-year-old Churchill Zoker. Zoker found with a gunshot wound at the extended stay America on East McCullough Drive on June 30th. He later died at the hospital. Jasmine Ingram and Abigail Johnson also facing charges. Griffin will be extradited back to Charlotte to face those charges. Well, today the anticipation is building more than ever as the Queen City now just days away from learning whether we will play host to the 2020 RNC.
And it's beginning to look like it's pretty much a sure bet after the site selection committee voted unanimously to bring the RNC to Charlotte. Today, Mayor Vi Lyles, city council members will touch down in Austin, Texas to meet with the committee officials.
NBC Charlotte's Ariel Placencia joining us live now from Uptown. So, Ariel, looking at Uptown about 2 years ago, things could look a whole lot differently 2 years from now.
That's right, Rachel. So take a look. This is where the event would be held, right here at the Spectrum Center. And this is where the DNC was held a couple of years ago. So no surprise there. But obviously, they're going to need a lot of space for security, right? So official documents say that this transit center also going to have to be temporarily relocated, also the same as it was for the DNC. So much as we look forward to 2020, we're also doing a lot of reflection back to 2012.
And that'll be a feather in Charlotte and all of North Carolina's cap for many, many years to come.
2 national conventions spanning both major political parties.
It'll be a great celebration of democracy for a week in Charlotte.
2020 will be here before we know it.
Sarah Reedy Jones is with the Mecklenburg GOP. The group is hosting a party at J. Sam's Wine Bar at 6:30 tonight, all to celebrate the potential RNC in CLT.
It shows how much Charlotte has grown. It's shown that we've been able to analyze what worked and what didn't work in 2012.
So as we mentioned, the entire RNC delegation going to have to confirm that vote. That's going to be tomorrow. Meanwhile, the mayor, city council members heading down to Texas today, so it's only a matter of time. I'll have another report coming up in 30 minutes, but for now, it's the very latest. I'm Ariel Placencia. I'll send it back to you.
Ariel, thank you. We do still have a crew in Austin following all those developments on the Republican National Convention and its impact on the Queen City. We'll bring you those updates on air, online, and inside the NBC Charlotte mobile app.
5:08 right now for the second time in 2 days now. The White House is responding to a controversial remark by President Trump over Russian interference in the 2016 elections. Yesterday, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president agreed with intelligence officials that Russia is indeed looking to interfere with our elections once again this year. But during a cabinet meeting just a couple of hours earlier yesterday, the president responded to no after being asked whether Russia is still trying to influence American elections. Sanders says his no answer actually meant he wasn't talking to any more reporter questions at that point. Back to school right around the corner, with CMS officials officially heading back on August 27th.
How are we that close
Right?
to back to school? Well, tonight, officials are organizing a town hall meeting to discuss school safety, and NBC Charlotte's Rob Hughes is live for us this morning with a look at some of the really big issues on tap for that discussion. Rob.
Yeah, guys, we're told people who attend tonight's town hall meeting are going to learn more about the solutions that will help keep kids safe while they're at school. Several key figures are expected to attend, including CMPD Chief Kerr Putney and CMS Superintendent Dr. Clayton Wilcox. Toward the end of last school year, Dr. Wilcox asked for county money to add fences, suggesting other security measures like hardened doors to help keep kids safe while they're at school. Chief Kerr Putney, he took a different approach. He wanted to add security screenings before students walk into school each day, meaning metal detectors. It's not a simple discussion, and there's not a simple solution, but key stakeholders say they're committed to coming up with a plan to keep kids safe.
I want to be able to prevent, not react to a situation like we see going all over the country.
After getting a lot of calls from CMS, students and teachers and the parents, there is this anxiety and fear, and that is so real.
City Councilwoman Dimple Ajmer, who you just heard from there, she's expected to host tonight's town hall meeting. It will be at Pritchard Memorial Baptist Church on South Boulevard. It will start at 6 p.m. and it is open to the public. Live in Charlotte, Rob Hughes. We'll send it back to you guys.
Rob, thank you. Approaching 5:11 now, turning back to your forecast. It's Larry Sprinkle. Larry.
Good morning. We'll check first warn Doppler radar. We have one pocket of precipitation. Really, it's not in the Charlotte metro area. Some heavy rainfall over parts of Rutherford County and into Cleveland County around Forest City, Ellenboro. So you have travel plans, especially Highway 74 heading westbound. You'll encounter some rainfall there. That's really where the rain is at the moment. Not much of a chance of rain over the rest of the area today. 10 a.m. we're at about 79 degrees. For the afternoon, we're back to the more typical temperatures for this time of the year, upper 80s around 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's the weather word. Let's get a check on your Thursday morning commute.
Larry, thank you. We're taking a live look right by the state line, 77 at Carowinds. You can see traffic just as busy as it was over there by Tyvilla Road. Very busy start to your morning, only 5:11. As far as your drive over the state line, if you are taking 77 northbound heading right into Uptown, you can see it'll take you about 22 minutes from Rock Hill, which is average, so no major delays with those extra people out on the streets. But we do have one other crash in addition to the 3 that I already showed you this morning. This is Winlock Drive. It was an earlier issue at Rustic Ridge Court. Might still have some residual effects there, so keep that in mind. It is off of 485, though. Ben?
Rachel, thanks. An important recall for you this morning before you grab your lunch today. Why a Charlotte company is warning consumers about a calzone product.
And America's favorite ice cream flavors will tell you which ones people actually love the most.